Reuben goes off, and while the brothers are enjoying a meal, they look up and they see these people called the Ishmaelites. But who are the Ishmaelites? Hey you guys, my name is Deanne and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Tonight is a Bible bedtime story, so come get comfy. To open up the bedtime story, I'm going to read you the verse that we should all know. It says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding of things. In all your ways submit to him and he will make straight your path." We all may already know the story of Joseph, and we might know the story of Abraham and Isaac, but we're going to be looking at it from a perspective you might have never realized before. So we have this young boy named Joseph. He's 17 years old. He's a bit of a shepherd boy who helps tend the flocks with his brother. But this is the catch and where the whole mess occurs. His dad loves him more than his other brothers, and Joseph is the youngest out of all of them. Joseph also has the gift of dreaming, and he has these dreams that really trigger his brothers. So Joseph, being the younger brother that he is, he's excited. He wants to tell his brothers the dream he had. He's like, "We were binding sheaves of grain out in the field, when suddenly my sheaf rose and stood upright, while your sheaves gathered around mine and bowed down to it." His brother said to him, "Do you intend to reign over us?" He tells them this dream where everyone is bowing down to him, and his brothers are like, "Who do you think you are?" And then it happens again. Joseph has another dream. "Listen," he said, "I had another dream, and this time the sun and the moon and 11 stars were bowing down to me." Joseph didn't realize it at the time, but these dreams were foretelling the future and when his 11 brothers would one day bow down to him, because Joseph would go on to save all of Egypt. But when Joseph's brothers heard this dream, they were mad. Because who are you, younger brother? You think you can tell us that you're better than us, that you're gonna rule over us? Sit down. And it doesn't help because his dad is basically adding gasoline to the fire because he already obviously loves Joseph more than everybody. And if that wasn't good enough, he pulls up with this dazzling coat of many colors. All his brothers see this, and most likely they have no coat that's as nice as this one. Anyways, we're gonna get to the interesting part of the story because Joseph's brothers are not having it. They come up with this plan to unalive Joseph because they are so ferocious and crazy. They'd rather get rid of their brother altogether than deal with the jealousy they have in their hearts. So one day, Joseph's dad sends him to his brothers. He tells him, "As you know, your brothers are grazing the flocks. I want you to go and see if all is well with your brothers." So Joseph goes off to meet his brothers, but they already have the plan to unalive him. "Here comes the dreamer," they said. The brothers scheme and come up with the idea to have this plan like, "Oh, a ferocious animal came and unalived Joseph. Let's make it look like that's what happened and that we didn't unalive him." But see, in this story, we have Reuben. He's the oldest brother, and he's gonna try to save Joseph's life. He tells his brothers, "Guys, let's not unalive him and get ourselves into so much trouble. Why do we have to do that? Why don't we throw him into this empty well?" He's trying to distract them from unaliving Joseph so that way he can go and rescue Joseph later when he's in this empty pit before his brothers can do anything to him. Reuben's plan was always to rescue his brother before it was too late for him. Reuben goes off, and while the brothers are enjoying a meal, they look up and they see these people called the Ishmaelites. But who are the Ishmaelites? This is the scariest thing about not following God's will. And in order for us to understand this, we have to backtrack back because who these people are is a big deal in the story. So for those of us who might know, Abraham was the father of many nations. He's a huge figure in the Bible. And see, God knew that Abraham wanted to have children. This was a desire he had, something he's been praying and praying for so long. And God told him that it would happen. "This man will not be your heir, but a son who is your own flesh and blood will be your heir. Look up to the sky," God says, "and count the stars. If indeed you could count all the stars in the sky, that's how many of your offspring you will have." he will be abundantly blessed. But right now, he didn't have any children. As more and more time had passed, and what they had been praying for had not happened for them yet, they were like, you know what? It's time for us to speed things up. Abraham and Sarai decide, you know what? Let's let you do the do with your slave. You guys get together, marry her, and have a child with her. So that way God's will can be fulfilled and you can have a child. Stepping outside of his will, speeding up the process so that they can have a child, because that's what they really want. And the son that they have is called Ishmael. And the Ishmaelites went on to be the ones who took Joseph and sold him into slavery. And this is the scariest thing. When you speed up outside of God's will and you force things to happen, you have no clue how far down the line it can affect generations. And God will still use things for good, because Joseph ended up going ahead. From him being sold into slavery into Egypt, he saved the people of Egypt from famine. His family was reunited again, and it was a beautiful thing. God will always use the evil and the bad that people do to you for good when you give your life to him and when you trust him. But it cannot be ignored how far things can go when you step outside of his will and you try to hurry things up. God bless you, and I want you to know that waiting, allowing God to do things in his timing, will always bring you the most beautiful things you could ever desire. God knows what you really want deep in your heart. He knows the way you want to be treated. He knows your biggest wishes and dreams, and he loves you more than anybody. He wants to fulfill it, but you have to let him do it the right way. To encourage you with the message of tonight, I want to show you these two verses. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31. But those who wait in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Those who wait on the Lord. Lamentations chapter 3, verse 25. The Lord is good to those who wait for him, to the one who seeks him. The Lord hasn't forgotten you, and he loves you so much. All those wishes and desires you have stored in your heart, he knows them, and he wants you to be happy. The Lord is good to those who wait for him, and don't let the enemy tear up nothing that God has for you. As always, God bless you all. I hope you have a great night, morning, evening, whatever it is for you. Thank you for being here. I'd love to know your suggestions for future videos in the comments. God bless. Good night.